Ready for some boom, baby, boom, rise. Oh, and shine. The smell. I would make sure that all my smells smelled that way, except for the walking the dog cigarette time. I'm free in my mind, and this morning marijuana motivation chilling because it's a growing obsession. I've been up since 5 a.m. That's right. I had to get up to have a phone call with one of the team members in Japan and one of them in Vegas, and I'm over here in Finland in the middle having to wake up at 5 a.m. But I don't mind because it's a growing obsession. That my team is growing, so that means I'm there for my team. I don't mind if it's teamwork. I don't mind if it's my business, and I don't mind if it's growth. And this morning, marijuana motivation, we're going to talk about that healthy obsession that I turned Saints Addiction into my mission. Leg out, let's go. So, I mean, I'm thinking there yesterday, sitting there underneath the trees. I had another beautiful day at the park, just listening to my Neville Goddard and the wind and it's like nice 74 degrees. And I was just in the breeze, just appreciating life and all the energy. And that I've been traveling Europe. Like some people say, I want to travel Europe for the summer. I do it. You know, I want to learn how you do it, and my friends are coming off with that thing. You know, like I want to know how you do what you do, and I'm like, how do I explain to you who I am? You know, this is who I am. I am who I am. That I am. I am a creator. I am a designer, and they were talking about the matrix and how to escape the matrix and how money isn't real and it's not based off of gold anymore, and they just print it and it's just a bunch of digital numbers off the ethernet, and it's really about your currency and your vibe and the way you reflect inside, right? And I'm sitting here going like, all these things have transpired through me. The ability to travel the world without any fear, and the ability to have the keys to the print shop and wake up and go to work and to push these boundaries, these amazing things like my team, you know, to get these guys to work with me. And now all of a sudden my dream is here. Like I'm literally marketing to you right now while I'm speaking to you. Scheduled fucking videos are getting dropped. I love it. You know, all the social media is getting posted on multiple accounts at multiple different times with multiple different hashtags. It's exactly what I wanted. And it was like, now it's time to enjoy it. You know, that's the healthy perspective of it, is I think that there'll be something to drive us crazy and obsess about it obsessively and go, okay, well, that didn't work out, right? That relationship didn't work out. My health isn't working out. I failed at life somewhere, somehow. And what I really wanted to point out, I was talking to my bestie before this conversation, is like, not all things are there for us to be there to complain about. There won't be a finger to point at a doctor, because then you'll still be dead. You know, there won't be anybody to blame and call an attorney, because now you're just wasting your time. And if you really wanted to live like unabashedly, you only have a finite amount of time to make something happen in your life. You know, that's the real kicker of it, is can you make something happen? Can you inspire before you expire? And this is why I do the morning motivation, is to reach, preach, and teach to everyone every day. But it was like facing my fear meant that I wouldn't have regret later, right? Action is the antidote for regret. And being able to look back and go reflect and go, man, I really did go to Brazil. Holy shit, I was at the Christ the Redeemer, and holy shit, I was at Angkor Wat too, and man, I can still see China in my mind's eye and the Great Wall of China, or coming over the ridge for Machu Picchu, and I'm still going to see what's it called, the Great Pyramids or the Colosseum. These things are still there because I said I want them to be there, and that's all that I ask. You know, when you ask what is rich, you know, rich, what's rich? What you mean, rich man? You know, when Bob Marley gets interviewed, what do you mean, like life riches? You know, like my life riches say that I'm in abundance, that I get to wear my dream and walk up to a model or a future model or reliable model and say, hey, can you model for me? And she's like, oh, this is like rave gear. I love raves. And I'm like, yes, I made this. This is me. I designed this. This is all me. Your boy Marky Saints Addiction. This is what I see. And in that, she came out of her shyness and she started to get inspired and said, maybe I will wear one of your shirts. Maybe I will model for you, and turned a no into a maybe to eventually turn it into a yes. And that's what it is. It's yes, blessed. I'm blessed to be here right now. Yes, it's July and everybody's like, it's so hot. And I'm like, it's not a heat wave. This is 75 degrees. It's under 80. And in America, look, I'm still wearing a long sleeve. Like, these are the things that drive me. It's the ability to change my mentality, testicle spectacles and watch, to watch and witness my own vibration and see it change the frequency. Like, a lot of people, they want to be attached to the drama, and that's the only frequency that they can see. It's like, as long as it excites me. Women are guilty of this too. They're just like, I get bored so easily, and I got to have a challenge, and I got to be excited all the time. And I like the polarity. I was learning this, what the woman was saying. You can't capitulate to women. You can't just give them everything that they want, because even if you gave them all their time, energy, and money, they won't appreciate it as much as someone that gives them a challenge, that excites them and gets their heart rate into it. And that's what you become. You become addicted to some of these neural pathways. You can call them dopamine pathways, or you can call them drama pathways. Whatever gets us excited, whatever gets our monkey brains to go, yes, it's gambling, it's the sounds, it's the ding ding ling 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 ling, it's the lights, it's the flashing lights that get us at the concerts. It's all these little bitty things that we're so easily entertained. But what entertains me is the challenge of things. It's like, okay, sure, you feel this way, but let's see what kind of entertainment I would get from putting myself in a different position away from the emotion that I already had. Right? So if I think that I'm already emotional and I'm only going in that one direction, imagine if I got off my ass and put myself in a different adventure, in a different circumstance, with different reactions. That's why I start to challenge myself. That's where I go like, okay, maybe I will do this. Maybe I will do this with my life, and see if I can travel the world without any money. Or what that girl would be like if I go up and approach her and I think she's beautiful and I'm nervous, but I go past that boundary, I go past that mental block that we all have. We all get inside of our lives and we just go like, okay, that's not possible. I'm running out of time. I'm too old. There is no money for it too. What if? What if I did boldly go? What if I got up early and started to raise teammates and they're closing deals with BlackRock and we can raise money for investors, and then all of a sudden I am a multimillionaire. And if that's not the translation from Neville Goddard on the bench when I'm out there in the park underneath the sun or in the shade, I was just like, that's what it is. It's a belief system that you put energy into before you see. This is what belief is, right? It's not have, do, be. It's be, do, have. Be a multimillionaire right now. Act as if. What's a multimillionaire do? I do my 100 phone calls. Last night, I didn't want to go do that. I wanted to just eat my food and pass out and watch some fucking YouTube, just like you. But guess what else I had to do? 20 phone calls because my team's depending on me. And I want to see what it's like when we start getting our first deals and build a company that really is international and really does build my dreams and lifts off my businesses and makes me feel super accomplished, super a part of something, and multi-millionaire thoughts and dreams, right? They called it what was it? Caviar, champagne and caviar dreams. And my buddy's like, what's that? And I'm like, you don't remember Lifestyle of the Rich and the Famous? I'm like, my God, bro, that was the biggest deal ever. It was your boy Robin Leach, and he would talk about the lifestyles and the rich and the famous. And now he's just a fucking old perverted fat guy that hangs around in Las Vegas. So, it's one of these things that, we want to have a champagne taste, but we're on a beer budget, right? And we want to have ambitions, but we let ourselves down because we're fearing that it's not going to be our mission. And we also never envision what it's like to see ourselves go past the fear zone, to go past a no-go zone or a situation that we thought we couldn't make it. We just literally go, I don't think I'm going to make it, so I never go. And therefore we never see, and then it never gets done. And that's why it's just like, boldly go, because then now all of a sudden you're there. And then you get to fight your way through it. You get to go like, hey, maybe I was scared. I think for sure I'm scared. But now I see myself on the other side of my fear, and I made it through there. And now all of a sudden the girl was actually quite nice, quite normal, and even shy. So our preconceptions of maybe she's too pretty, or maybe I'm not good enough, or what will happen, what dreams may come as long as you let them come, you don't, at least unless you actually come, like in real life, that's what it really makes sense. That's when you really have a memory. That's when you really have an experience. And that's when you really get the right vibration, is when you actually take bold chances. You put your life in the hands. Man, it smells so good. You keep breathing, you keep growing, and that's why it's a growing obsession. It grew inside me, this saint's addiction, that like if I could apply myself to the same type of energy that I was giving to my addictions or my wants instead of my needs, I was definitely going to do it all day, every day, 5 o'clock in the morning, trying to look for coke instead of looking for a business partner. That was the old me. New me made better decisions, and therefore I'm grateful to that guy that got to be able to smile at the situation. I hope this guy isn't running a lawnmower around me, but to smile at a situation and say, hey, this is our lives, this is what's going on, and we're just grateful for it. Yeah. Hey, we do dog shirts here at the print shop. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a card next time. Yeah, chigata. Like, I keep telling all these people it was my great marketing idea, and how do I explain it? But I was like, there's so many people that own dogs. I'm going to give them a dogs on shirt so I can make a little bit of money, 20 euros a shirt. But also, that'll let them know that Pinacopa is here. We're a dog-friendly place. We want to network with you, and who knows who you know? So maybe make a quick couple shirts, but also network with people. Marketing, it was just one of my ideas. And now when people are out here, instead of being mad because their dogs are pissing and shitting right by the office window, you know what I'm saying? Like every morning I see them like coming right on in, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to get mad at them. I'm going to give them a business card, and then they can pay us 20 euros a shirt and apologize for pissing and shitting in the front yard. Anyway, but I digress. But it's one of those things where it's a growing obsession. It's one of those things where I was on a mission, much like somebody who was looking for cocaine, much like somebody that was looking for some pussy, much like somebody that was looking for alcohol. I know for facts, even when I travel through here in Finland, I still have friends that'll hit me up. Even though I'm traveling and barely making ends meet because it's so expensive to live here, they'll still hit me up kind of trying to borrow 100 euros, trying to borrow 20 euros, and asking me if they can borrow money so they can continue their addiction. And this is why that's a growing obsession in the wrong direction. That's the wrong direction that you want to go into, is your self-destruction instead of your self-actualization and seeing what you are actually capable of. So it's like, what are you fearing more? That you could actually change and you could be powerful and see what your brain can do? Or are you fearing this unprescribed end results? That's like, it was my best friend, she's got some cervical cancer, or they're testing it, and now she spends most of her time inside of her head in dread, going like, what's going to happen, instead of I should live. And that's why I was going through her with the life list. Is like, have you ever been to a concert? Yes, of course. Do you have tattoos? Have you ever been married? Have you ever been divorced? Have you ever traveled to another country? I knew he was going to do some work things on the lawnmower, and I need to roll up some green, if you know what I mean. But, it's one of those things where you got to ask yourself, have I really lived? This is the growing obsession about, especially my life at 45. I go, did I actually live? Have I actually put in enough work to say that I'm alive? And I think that I have. I think that I did. I think that even if the heart wants to fail me and I die today or tomorrow, whenever, that I actually did something with my life. I'd like to have children before I die, so I can have, this awesome energy continue on into perpetuity. It's also one of the things that I changed inside of me, with like the dream of video in a sec and sight in a second. I got 100 domain names, and like, let's snap our fingers and make them work. What about our social media poster? And now they're getting advertisements for dogs on shirts for babies, holidays on shirts, beards on shirts, beer on shirts. It's the whole fucking thing, and it's transpiring inside of me. So this is the game, and the game, it's afoot. It's a growing obsession to see what I can do with the time that I have left on this God-given earth, how many designs I can be. And when we listen to Neville Goddard, instead of being somebody that's chasing a paycheck, I'm chasing my passion over paycheck, and I became a creator. Instead of somebody that needed, what were they saying? Not like a debt slave, not hourly, but something like that, where Instead of them draining me and building someone else's dream, I'm now using my own creativity to create currency. And this is how I get paid. So, yeah, my phone still rings. Even when the phone was off, I was still getting phone pops. People are still trying to call me. I'm still shocked by it. You know what I mean? And starting to realize that is me. That is marketing. That is who I am. Mark State through and through. Was I've always been creative. I've always been a daydreamer. I've always been intrepid and brave, and somebody that was wanting to see the gamble was on my life to see that can dreams come true. Is that just reserved for the Michael Jacksons, Mike Tysons, and Michael Jordans? Or is it there for the average person that puts in exceptional energy? So you can be average, but you can have exceptional energy, and then that's what I wanted, an exceptional life. And I think that's what my dream is becoming. I'm waking up in the morning, and again, listening to Neville Goddard. You got to do the relax. Everything's coming for you. The good dreams are coming. Let me skip this ad, but I do this whole.
Share with you a truth so profound, yet so simple, that it has escaped the notice of the busy and striving world. And that truth is this: relaxation is the key to the fulfillment of every desire. It is not through struggle or effort or worry that you manifest what you seek. It is through the serene assumption of the wish fulfilled. It is in stillness, not striving.
And that drove me nuts, because I always thought, more effort, more rewards, and it doesn't work that way. Even girls don't work that way. It's not the effort that you give. It's not the amount of money that you give, or even the time that you give. It's the feelings that you give. Do they feel like they're a part of the dream? Do they feel like they're part of the adventure? And then they want to go with you. If their feelings say so, then that's 80%, 90% of us just going by our feelings. And as long as our feelings say so, then we're off to the races going with it. And that's what you got to say. What do I really feel deep down inside? What do I really want? And then go past that and just go, what do I really need? And it turns out I needed me. I needed adventure. I needed to prove to me that I was brave, and all my dreams were going to be a reality. I was going to do them regardless if people understood me or if it made any money. And now I got a whole team, a dream team behind me, talking about investors and buyouts and precision things. So these things all take place inside me. The fear, the loss, the gain, the exposure. I don't really rest on my laurels and be like, yeah, I made it around the world 3 times, 4 times, or that somebody gets on Instagram and goes, you should write a book, and go that way with it. And I'm like, all that stuff's fun and all, but it's my own appreciation of my time on this planet. And I think that's the best definition of a life, is your ability to enjoy it while it passes. So there's a power in it that whatever we do now will translate into what will happen in the future, and not have a regret for the past. But it's also a very powerful thing to even be alive. It's such a special thing to be on this planet while it shines and it's warm, and there's days where you're like on a lake, or you got to hang out with friends and laugh your ass off at the joke, and eat the food and make the love and see the stars and all the things that are free for life and make us heavenly. We have the ability to absorb these things and see these things with our own eyes. And that's what I wanted people to realize, was just like, I was wasting my time with perceived fear. I was wasting my time with stressing about the outcome, just like he was just saying just now. I was burning my candle at both ends, instead of saying, hey, this, at least my candle is burning. I had to go burn it up and make sure that people knew that I was successful, and that they knew I was creative, and they knew I was hardworking, and prove to everybody, including my dad, like, hey, I'm somebody to pay attention to. Why, daddy, look at me, I'm on the high dive type shit, instead of, I'm just grateful that I got high. Right? That I even got on the high dive, and that I did jump, even though I belly flopped and got all purple on my stomach and shit. I still went up. I still took shots. There's some shots that I missed. There's some shots that I went wrong. Somebody that I pissed off. It hasn't been exactly plush. Talking about old relationships. I'm talking with my friend. I'm not perfect, but I never beat a bitch. I've never clenched my fist once and tried to hit somebody. I've grabbed phones. I've blocked exits. I'm keeping it real. This is just life. I'm not perfect at all. That's why it's mostly Saints and Saints addiction, because my perfectness had flaws. I was perfectly flawed, just like you. Perfectly imperfect, and that's where these ideas and dreams came from. And now it's a whole ass brand that people can compliment me on and notice, and now it's becoming more and more worldwide, especially with the YouTube's going live and other people witnessing it. And it's cool to hear compliments, but what would be really cool is if people lift off with it. If they get actually inspired to do something with their lives, instead of just being, oh, that's so cool, you should write a book. How about they do something cool that they should write a book about? That would be really cool. It'd be another book to read instead of just people reading my book. And I'm sure most people or influencers or people like that just watch me. I'm on some keep living after you hang up the phone with me. That's me, dude. I'm on some just keep it going, because this stuff works, bro. The megahertz at night, and the get some fresh air and some sun on your skin, and first thing in the morning before you crack your phone, and make sure you get it in and do things. And that's what I was saying. It's like I'll do anything for my dream. It became my growing obsession. It didn't matter how many hours it took, or if I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. If it was a flight to Brazil, your ass would be like, okay, I'm up. I put my brain in those kind of wavelengths where it's just like, you asked for it. Now that you have it, you can't complain about it. And that's really what it is. I asked for this life. I said, please let me just travel the world safely, and hang out with my friends and grow my businesses. And I don't want any bad relationships, and I don't want any bumps, and I don't want any misunderstandings. Of course you would say that, like I would love to say that as well. But the truth is, it comes with it. It comes with the territory. Not knowing what's the future going to bring is going to bring you some form of anxiety. But just being comfortable, like you said, not fighting the force in this Neville Goddard and stuff, where you're trying to, get more effort equals more results, instead of I'm doing the enjoying. Like, man, I'm really am here. I'm really am in the park of a Finland, European city, and I get to be free and take my shirt off and chill, and nobody's gonna bother me, and listen to my own pump up stuff and have deep thoughts underneath the trees. This is like a once a week occurrence. Like, I just sit underneath the trees and look up at the breeze and just smoke a couple trees and relax a bit, and say, take it all in, instead of this, oh man, I haven't done enough, or I'm so busy. Like my friend was like, dude, trust me, come with me for an hour, you'll feel better. And he was right. I changed my whole vibe, I changed my whole angle, and that has changed my whole life. So let's go bless up. Definitely join Weed Club. Make sure I got a lighter here, and then you're gonna come smoke with me. And that's been my dream. My biggest dreams were right there in front of me. They just needed me to show up to them and not be afraid of them. And I knew I would have regret. If I think about talking to a girl, I go over there, talk to her. If I think about doing some push-ups, I get down and do the push-ups. If I get invited out for a workout, I say yes. It doesn't matter how busy I am. And that way I don't regret the passing of time. That way I would have done something instead of sat through something. And that's what I'm asking people to do. It's not to sit through it, twiddling their thumbs and worrying their nails away, biting them. I want them to get there, bro. Grow the obsession. Make it everything about it, viral. Everybody wants to go viral, but visceral, that means really real, like something you can touch, almost like a thick viscous is another good word for it, the viscous oil or something. Let's go. Bless up. Let's go. Saints Addiction. And that's what it is. It's a conversation within, and it's the constant conversation that you have. It's the one that nobody else is listening. And you got to tell yourself, what am I really doing? What am I really doing with this lifespan? And what do I want to execute with the breath in my lungs and the thoughts in my head? And this is what Saints Addiction came up with. And now I've done it. I literally feel like a success. Even though the multi-millions aren't in the bank account, there will be. They're coming soon enough because my energy says so. My 5 o'clock rise and shine say so. My daily morning motivation say so. And my spirit says so. So I put in enough work. There was so much work that it hurt, you know. The Mack truck coming through, getting ran over with one of those, losing babies and thinking I didn't deserve to live. And there I was, almost suicidal. And in North Dakota, I'll never forget, Fargo, North Dakota. And I said to myself, I can't end it. I've worked too hard for it. You know, I put in too much hard work, sacrifice, and long hours for it to just give up to something that was emotional and hurt my feelings. You know, I don't want to hurt my life. How about that? My feelings might change and come and go, but my life is here to stay. And as long as I have it, I want to play. You know, I want to do something with it instead of against it. And that's what Saints Addiction was all about. Turn negatives into positives, make my life all right by me, and be able to enjoy this thing in between, you know, in between my ears, in between the time, and in between my life, from death to from life till death. I wanted to enjoy. And that's what I've been saying for people. It's like it's a choice. And that's why I posted this morning. You know, you get to choose. And if you don't choose, you lose. You booze, you lose. And if you don't go on that cruise, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life, because time's not promised. You know, that's the only thing that we can't all promise on. You could die at 26, like my friend posted, and this girl who had cancer and didn't make it. She was just like, it's kind of weird to die in your 20s, you know, having cancer. But, you know, all the things that you were worried about, you know, your weight gain, your body parts you've been obsessing on, that's not the growing obsession I want you on. I want you to be obsessed that your body's still moving. Like I do the Tai Chis in the morning, and I'm stretching and doing all the things. My belly's down, and I'm eating healthy fruits, and I'm just like, I get to consume this energy. It doesn't get to consume me. And that's what I'm grateful for every morning, every time I get to do it. Even the fucking strangers walking by is like, what's going on with him? I'm living. L-I-V-N, living. And you want to be doing it too. You want to get on that level where you're just like, yeah, man, let me rise, let me shine, see what I can do, instead of being locked up in prison for 5 years. Over 3 grams of weed, or see what I can do when I get out of jail and they're trying to capture me. Like half ounce of mushrooms, half ounce of weed, stop it. Even if it was an ounce, you still can't stop me. And only I can stop me. That was the whole epiphany of this whole journey, was like, you can't stop me, no one can stop me. Well, turns out I was stopping myself a lot, you know, especially when I get to the top. I'll get to the pinnacle of a situation, and then I'll buckle and feel like it's time to do some cocaine. Then I'll do some self-sabotaging, and then I'll make some mistakes, and then I'll throw myself back down the ring because I felt like that's the comfortable place to be. Well, now the mission is to be free mentally and financially, and not slow myself down from the possibilities that could actually be. And this is what excites me. So this is a good morning motivation, man. I really like this moto. I really like this Vacation. And I really like this sunshine. So, you know, it's been on my mind. It's been on my soul, and it's been growing, and now you see it, you know. You see it all, from the Saint Shades to the Saint Glow. You know, it's my halo. This is my life, and I'm grateful that I can smile and people light up the world. You know, smile, and the whole world smiles with you. Cry, and I'll give you something to cry about, right? You know, I got busy living instead of busy crying. I had something else to do with my time and my vibe and my light. So I want you to do something with your vibe and your light. Look, people are coming closer to me, all right? Told you they were going to be vacuuming. That's not vacuuming. They're going to be lawn mowing. And I told you to get that fresh sunshine on your skin first thing in the morning. Drink plenty of water. Smell that fresh air. Realize that you're a free spirit. Realize that life is short, and realize that it's willing to be lived. It's the best game going. Fuck the Nintendo. Put down the controller. Take control of your own life and see what you can do with your time, your playtime, when you get a chance. So yeah, we got over here. We already got a guy mowing the lawn. We already got the shop open, and this guy's chilling. Look at him. Say chigata. Chigata. And that's it. That's my morning motivation. If you got anything out of this, you already know. Like, share, subscribe below. And as always, peace and love. And chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. The other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses and the other side of the world, because that's where I'll be. Peace. Good morning. Yeah. I'll see you on the other side. Bye. Inspire before